Hi, this is Peggy Clary of Clary Law Offices doing our daily video chat on estate planning topics. And tonight's discussion is really focused on what to do when the person you love has passed away. And if you go online, there's a lot of helpful checklists on this, but sometimes they can be pages long and overwhelming. So tonight's video is really to talk about using strategies with 3 main points that can be much like setting up a board game, like playing Monopoly, or if you play Risk, but helping you get through what to do when that person dies. So the first strategy I like to think about is to notify/secure. So when someone passes away, you are going to be asked about who is going to handle the disposition of the body. And so by that, has the person who died made pre-arrangements? Do we have a funeral home picked out? And nowadays, funeral homes and cremation organizations, funeral homes can do cremation, or maybe they're doing just a straight cremation service. But having that ready and able, so when the person passes, we're able to tell the hospital or the hospice staff, please contact, for example, one down the street from me is Brett Funeral Home. And they have someone who mans the phone 24 hours a day, and they're able to immediately reach out and pick up your loved one and make sure their body is properly cared for till the arrangements can come out. In Florida, just as another way to notify that the service provider who does the cremation or the funeral will order death certificates for you, and then as part of that process, Social Security is notified of the death. So there's a lot of automatic help that comes the minute you make the arrangements for the disposition of the body. Part of notify is to secure. So it's important to pick up from the hospital the belongings of the decedent. Maybe you want to make sure you've gathered jewelry or their purse or their wallet. And also if in the person's home, there were a lot of keys and maybe caregivers coming out, it's a good time to just do a quick change of the locks to make sure that the domain and the domicile of the decedent is secure, and you have important things that they might have had with them when they checked into their facility. Once you get through this initial period of notifying and securing, you move to the next strategy, which is gather. And gather is really about 2 ways: gathering information, but also working and gathering the family together and friends and loved ones to coordinate service and celebration of life. And then at that same time, we begin to gather information. Is there a will? What are some assets? Are there any debts we need to deal with? But we do information gathering. And then the gathering phase leads us to our final chapter or final piece of the process, which is strategy. And at that time, once you know what I have and how things are titled, is there a will, is there a trust, you're better able to determine what is the next step we need to take. So if you have a person who dies with a will, there's going to be a personal representative, so the court will appoint that person to be in charge. If you open a formal administration, and we have other videos on the site that talk about the type of probate that is. If you decide to have a summary administration, meaning you don't have to have the large probate process, but the smaller one, then you can let the court know these are the assets, and this is how they're to go, either under the will or under Florida intestacy law. Or you may have, after you've gone through the gathering phase, information about maybe the decedent's assets were left payable on death. So like life insurance, a death certificate would be submitted, and it's a long form one which shows the cause of death, and then the life insurance company pays the policy benefits to the person named as beneficiary. So you can do that for bank accounts too, and it's an easy way for a decedent to leave wealth. So as you know, you're going through the realization that your loved one has passed away, sometimes the shock of that event quickly gives way of what do we do? And the 3 easy tips are to notify and secure, gather, and then plan your strategy. And the process of that is very measured, and it's very straightforward, but it enables the decedent's wishes and their legacy to be passed out without any substantial problems. So here at Clary Law, we hope you live a life with civility, dignity, and respect. If we can help you deal with the death of a loved one or help you process or understand any of these phases, please don't hesitate to reach out. And thanks for your time this evening.